Welcome, welcome, welcome. We live, we live. Hold on one second. Let me put this out on X. Live. Okay. All right, I'm posted on X that we live, and let me change my Hold on, y'all. We're gonna start this in 1 second. Let me edit my title really quick and put that we live. We live. Why is it not allowing me to change it? Okay. But hold on, y'all. Think. Um. Oh, I see why. It's too many letters. Okay, never mind. All right, y'all. All right, y'all. So before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button, share this out so we can get this important information out there. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. Hit that alarm bell so you know when I'm going live and when I'm putting out new stuff. Also check out my link tree in the description. It has a link to my Patreon, and that's where I talk about things that I can't talk about here. Also check me out on X. I'm very active on X now. It's my new favorite platform. I love X. I love what Elon Musk has done with that platform there. So check me out there. I'm Jay the Psych there, or you could just type in JJ the Psychotherapist. You should be able to find me. And we gonna definitely check out what's going on X after we go over this important news here. So this comes from the Daily Wire. She's weirdly unpopular. DNC compliance manager Badmouths Kamala Harris on hidden camera. I can't wait to see it. I haven't seen this video yet, but this is James O'Keefe platform. He goes in and do this undercover work, or he sent people in to do this undercover work and exposing these elites, exposing these corrupt politicians, and we love his work. I know that Project Veritas made a stupid, dumb decision by letting him by letting him go from his own organization that he founded, but that's all right. He started a whole new one doing the same good work. But the Daily Wire report that Democratic National Committee Compliance Manager Joyce DeSerce admitted while on a hidden camera that he did not believe Vice President Kamala Harris, the party's new de facto nominee, could win the 2024 presidential election. Because she is so bad. She is so terrible. Maybe I'll pull it up. Y'all should see what Judge Joe Brown had to say about it. I think I'll pull that up, and I'll show that clip as well. What Judge Joe Brown had to say about it, cause that's powerful too. Like, she is so incompetent, so terrible. It's crazy that anyone would vote for this woman. I mean, if you just look at her policies, something is definitely off with her. I can't really say exactly what it is, with her cackling and stuff like that, her laughing. I think that's the defense mechanism. I don't know what's going on with her. But in a new video, I digressed. In a new video released Tuesday afternoon by James O'Keefe, DeSerce told an O'Keefe Media Group undercover journalist that Harris was, quote, weirdly unpopular and did not have any real accomplishments to speak of, even after serving 3 years as vice president to Joe Biden. So, I mean, it's obvious here. Even people that work with her, knows this. She's dumb. And I'm not just saying that I'm telling you what everyone says about her. So I'm gonna play that clip, and I'm gonna definitely get to Joe Brown in a little bit. But let's play this clip here.
I like Kamala Harris, but I don't think she'd win this year.
Meet Joyce DeSears, he, him, the compliance manager to the DNC.
What's your official title?
Compliance manager. My specific job, like the end-all be-all of my job, is reporting to the government how much the DNC raised and where it spent its money.
Saying that she doesn't have any accomplishments to speak of.
She's weirdly unpopular. She doesn't have any accomplishments to speak of because she's vice president.
Joyce DeSears revealed how the DNC gains donations and what tactics they use, including just telling donors what they want them to hear.
When I was doing finance, like fundraising, we just call it finance and politics, you kind of tell a donor what they want to hear.
Which is what?
Whatever they want to hear.
DeSears admits to the OMG citizen journalist American Swiper, you kind of tell a donor just what they want to hear.
You just put on a performance for them, a little show, right?
You just put on a performance for them, a little show, right?
So basically we're just feeding into their fantasy.
Yeah. Which, you ever met a rich person? They want their fantasy to be, fed into.
So we just take their money and we smile and nod our head, but we don't really take their opinions into our strategy.
100%.
So some donors are holding back on writing the checks because they think that the campaign's not doing well. Why would they think that?
I don't know, a lot of people think we should attack Trump more.
We should attack Trump more.
Yeah.
Do you feel like our strategy has always been just take their money and tell them what they want to hear?
Yeah, that's politics.
There's always been an artifice that pervades our politics in this country, with people never willing to say out loud what the truth is.
Thanks.
And the political marketing industry, masquerading as journalists, participate in that lie. But every once in a while, we manage to catch them being honest. And when we do, they tell you the truth, what they really think, what they really believe, what they won't say in public for reasons that are themselves important. And they tell you things like this.
And what's your official title?
Compliance manager.
You're the only person.
Yeah. I don't manage anyone.
I mean, you manage compliance. It's huge, right? I mean, there's a lot of legality involved, I imagine.
I can't say I manage the compliance department because I don't. There's no department to manage. I manage me.
And remind me what compliance means again?
It's pretty much an accounting function. It's kind of like where accounting and legal meet. So
you report?
Yeah, my specific job, the end-all be-all of my job, is reporting to the government how much the DNC raised and where it spent its money. And Joe Biden's campaign right now, because they don't have anyone doing that for them. So
you're doing it for both the DNC and the Biden campaign?
Yeah.
Meet Joyce DeSears, he, him, the compliance manager to the DNC in the former Biden campaign, now the Kamala Harris campaign. DeSears, as stated on his LinkedIn, is a, quote, political operations expert with experience in people and culture, financial operations, and compliance. DeSears divulged further into what his role description is for the DNC, the former Biden campaign, and now the Kamala Harris campaign. In today's rapidly evolving healthcare landscape and mysterious shortages of medical supplies, being proactive about your health is paramount. That's why our OMG supporters, The Wellness Company, is proud to introduce the ultimate first aid emergency kit, meticulously crafted by its chief medical board to support life-saving readiness. When my team and I are out in the field, we always carry our TWC First Aid Emergency Kit because in an emergency, every second counts. The upgraded kit includes essential items like epinephrine for anaphylactic reactions, several common prescription medications, and many vital first aid supplies. Additionally, it features a comprehensive first aid emergency guide, life-saving after purchase. Whether it's ensuring access to that's TWC. Americans across the country are just a few short months away from electing a new president of the United States in what has already been an insane campaign cycle, and the election is just around the corner. Here at OMG, we decided to investigate and found ourselves looking into the Democratic National Committee, the Joe Biden campaign, and now the Kamala Harris presidential campaign. Let's dive right in. Joyce DeSears, the DNC compliance manager, met our OMG American Swiper on the dating app Bumble, where they met on multiple occasions. He spoke to the journalist about the DNC.
How many times they be getting these people because they are horny? they go on these sites. If it's a gay dude, they be like on the Grinder, John. If it's a female, they'll set them up on like Bumble and all these other type of apps, and they set them up every time. And they go to these dates. They go on these dates, not knowing they meeting with the op, and just spill the beans. It's hilarious, but this is the only way we can get this information, though, because they're so good at lying and propagandizing the majority of the people and believe in the lie and the propaganda. So we need more citizen journalists like O'Keefe. We need more people to do this, to expose these corrupt people. Coppermine said, of course, the pronouns, right? Jack McCrowd says it's funny, yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and let me play the rest of this.
Vice President Harris, President Joe Biden, First Lady Jill Biden. Recently, Vice President Kamala Harris has launched her campaign for President of the United States. What does the DNC compliance manager, Joyce DeSears, him think of Kamala running? Well, he confided to our OMG journalist about the fears of the Vice President losing to Donald Trump, revealing Kamala Harris has no accomplishments to run on, saying, quote, I don't think Kamala Harris would win this year, and saying that she doesn't.
And I'm definitely going to play that clip after this with Judge Joe Brown, where he worked with her when he was in California, so he got the scoop, and he really break down how incompetent Kamala Harris is. I can't wait to show y'all this clip from Judge Joe Brown.
Have any accomplishments to speak of. He even goes so far as to say that Kamala Harris won't win even if she ran in 2028.
I like Kamala Harris, but I don't think she'd win this year.
Why?
She's weirdly unpopular. I think a lot of that is racism and misogyny.
No.
And the vice president's so easy to attack, right? She doesn't have any accomplishments to speak of because she's vice president. She doesn't make laws. Her job is to become president if Joe Biden does. And a lot of the time, the vice president, whoever they are, gets sent to do the hard stuff. So, yeah.
So why do you think she's constantly getting attacked?
Honestly, if you look at the stuff people attack her with, it is a bunch of racist, sexist bullshit. Like, it's just stuff you wouldn't say about a man. People call her Gitsy.
It's truly shocking what people admit when you use a hidden camera. The undercover cameras you've seen us use in the past are now available for sale. Go to our website, o'keefemediagroup.com, click on Covert Camera Store, go get the footage, send it to us, and we'll pay you for it. Joyce DeSears, him, is saying what everyone else is apparently thinking. Even Vice President Harris's own Democratic employees are acknowledging she cannot win due to her unpopularity and lack of accomplishments. Recall the video that I did undercover, sitting across the table from someone in the executive office of the White House.
Same thing with Kamala Harris. Is she's not popular, but you can't remove the first black lady to be vice president on the goddamn presidential ticket. She can't keep black staff. They quit on her in mass.
Just a short time ago, Vice President Kamala Harris launched her presidential bid and raised $81 million in 24 hours, according to an Axios report. Joyce DeSears revealed how the DNC gains donations and what tactics they use, including just telling donors what they want them to hear and playing into what DeSears calls Democratic donors' fantasies in order to get more money.
When I was doing finance, like fundraising, we just call it finance in politics, you kind of tell a donor what they want to hear.
Which is what?
Whatever they want to hear. They tell you what they tell you what they want to hear, and then they say, "What do you think?"
Like, give me an example.
You know, we really need to spend more attacking Trump.
Sure.
You need to get up on stage and you need to talk about all the things Trump is saying. And then you say, "I completely agree," and President Biden is going to be doing that. Here's 3 examples where he did it. And if we have 25K, we can spend money on making sure that happens. Can you give 25K? And he's like, "I don't know." And you're like, "Well, you know, Biden actually has an event coming up. I could relay your concerns to him." You know what? Yeah, I'll give 50K. Okay. But then a donor says, "You're doing way too many TV ads, you know, like TV doesn't change votes, you know, nobody watches cable anymore." Well, that's why we're hiring so many organizers in all these states. The organizers cost money. And so just a single organizer's salary is $41,000 a year. And we got to hire a lot if we really want to beat Trump and be competitive and say, "What state are you from again? Florida?" We need to really have a lot of organizers if we want to beat Trump in Florida. In fact, we're opening up a field office right there in Tampa. It's going to cost a lot. Can you give 100K?
Dang, you're good.
Just lie.
You just
I'm ready to like write a check to you.
You tell people exactly what they want to hear, though.
DeSears admits to the OMG citizen journalist American Swiper, you kind of tell a donor just what they want to hear. You just put on a performance for them, a little show, right?
Do you feel like our strategy has always been just like take their money and tell them what they want to hear?
Yeah, that's politics.
That's what?
That's politics.
That's politics? So we just take their money and we like smile and nod our head, but like we don't really take their opinions into our strategy?
100%.
So basically we're just feeding into their fantasy.
Yeah. Which, you ever met a rich person?
No.
Yeah, I saw that previous video too, Jack. And Copper Mutant says she's like if Dan Quayle had run for president. Doesn't have anything to do with her race or gender. She's not a leader. And that's exactly, I agree. That's why I can't wait to show y'all this clip from Judge Joe Brown, because he saw her in action, and I believe how he explains how she came up is really what happened.
That's their MO.
What?
They want their fantasy to be, fed. You just put on a performance for them, a little show, right? Judith Butler calls this phantasm.
Phantasm.
Yeah, it's this kind of like cognitive dissonance of like just imagining something that truly isn't.
So some donors are holding back on writing the checks because they think that the campaign's not doing well? Why would they think that?
Because it's not.
A lot of people think we should attack Trump more.
We should attack Trump more.
Yeah.
Do you feel like our strategy has always been just like take their money and tell them what they want to hear?
Yeah, that's politics.
So, there you have it. DeSears sings like a canary about how he uses facades to play to donors' fantasies, utilizing deception. It's on full display over at the DNC. But it begs the question, what else is the DNC doing to trick their donors or voters? How many other people agree with this man? In fact, how many people disagree with him? Really? And why are they telling donors what they want to hear? Why aren't they telling them the truth? Why are they performing these bait and switch techniques? On top of all of this, our OMG American Swiper asked Joyce DeSears about President Biden and his struggles with donors, which corroborates reports in the media that have stated Biden was in fact struggling with campaign donations.
So do you think it was a mistake that President Biden agreed to debate Trump?
No, because I think it was a good thing on Biden's part, because he would have had to debate Trump anyway, just politically. He would have had to.
I mean, I just imagine how he does in the debates gonna influence how donors decide whether they're gonna continue to back him, right?
For sure. Yeah, we've had people who haven't wanted to give us money because they think the campaign is not doing well enough, or Biden isn't being strong enough.
We reached out to the DNC for comment and to DeSears for comment, and we received this. Now, what's interesting is the DNC did try contacting our fearless OMG American Swiper, including sending her this postcard asking her not to do any more online swiping. The postcard was in English and Chinese. We're not sure why they invoked an Asian racial undertone in contacting our journalist. They also made anonymous phone calls in the middle of the night. To her, this all happened as the publication date of our groundbreaking story on the DNC approached. It appears as though these were attempts to intimidate or try to stop this report from being aired. But here at OMG, we are undeterred, always holding those in power accountable. And once again, we extol the brave journalist, the virtues of this swiper who got this story. She's incredibly talented and courageous, and we're sending her a check for the story. And you can do the same. O'KeefeMediaGroup.com/swiper.
Right, I love
Our
that
staff
they're
is
doing
standing
that.
by. We'll get in touch.
I love that. I love that they're going behind the scenes and having dates with these people and calling them out and having them tell on themselves. I love citizen journalism. All right, so let me go ahead and play this clip now of Judge Joe Brown. Shout out to Art of Dialogue for getting him on the show. I've been listening to some. I follow Judge Joe Brown on X, and I also I listen to some what is it called on X when you have those rooms? I forgot what it's called. But he'll go in and he'll have his talks and stuff like that. And he's very, very informative, especially when it comes down to this law stuff. Judge Joe Brown know his stuff. But he said Kamala Harris is not black. She's lazy and flirts to get what she wants. And wait till he breaks down like her family history, how she's really not black. Wait till he breaks that down. All right, so here we go. Again, shout out to Art of Dialogue.
But I gotta ask you about Kamala Harris. How you feel about her?
She's a piece of shit. I was in California. She lacked professional competence, and she worked on it by hiking up her hemline when she needed influence rather than researching. I was out in California for 15 years doing my show when she was at her peak, and she had a reputation amongst the trial lawyers of being lazy. She just hike her skirt up and try to flirt, and she wasn't that good in the courtroom, if not pretty bad in the courtroom. So I'm not surprised at what she does. She's 60 years old, and I think, listening to her word salad and the way she talks, I think she's got early onset dementia and also some problems with menopausal complications. That's that, you see, today is going to be tomorrow, so since it's going to be tomorrow, today we have tomorrow, which is why we are now. Like, what did you say? They have
exactly
something in mind, but they cannot cognate getting all the way through it.
That's exactly how she talks. It makes absolutely no sense, and we got all the footage to show this. So they can't, I don't understand how can they continue to cape for her, just like when we have video evidence for Biden. It makes no sense.
Which is why she's famous for this word salad garbage, and she doesn't make a bit of sense. I think since she's only 60, she's actually on a worse track than Biden was. Biden is 20-some years older than her, and he has been senile for a long time. Now, about 5 or 6 years ago, when did they start ramping up to do this? 2019. Okay, I was saying Biden has been a failure his whole adult career, a second-rate, third-string player. He's in the game, so he wants to make a name for himself. I love
that. I love that. Biden is a second-rate, third-string player. And that explains his entire career.
Considered him for years poor urban trailer park trash, and he's a crook. He's a third stringer. Now, what I said he was going to do is he probably wants to claim fame for being the first person to see to it that a woman got to be president. And what I predicted, I'm slightly wrong on it, was that he was going to get in, try to get elected, and if he got one term, try to get elected for a second one. And then halfway through his term, when he had served 2 years, to retire or resign in her favor. So under the 22nd Amendment, what happens is she can serve for the final 2 years for somebody and then be elected twice more. So that woman would be able to serve 10 years, second only to Franklin Delano Roosevelt, who got elected to 4 terms before they put the amendment in place so you couldn't. Now, that said, I think, and my major at UCLA was political science, my analysis is they picked the weakest somebody they could as a figurehead, somebody who had some apparent minority status, which she does not. And what goes on is that you get her, everybody that is everybody would be afraid to go against her because of what she can pass herself off as. And then you get somebody that's easy to control because she's lazy, because she is becoming incoherent, and because she's always tried to do the casting couch to get where she wants. Now, the
Facts.
problem is that'll get somebody to a certain level quickly, but you can't get past that level if you don't have competence and talent. So my thing about it is if I'm crude about it, in this city years ago, I used to represent a whole bunch of pimps and hoes, and I know a hoe when I see one. And I say this, I don't care, women.
He said he used to represent a lot of pimps and hoes around here. Judge Joe Brown. He said so he know a hoe when he sees one. Judge Joe Brown is the truth. I'm trying to tell y'all.
You do what you want to do if you want to have recreational sex, but when you do the casting couch or anything else for professional purposes to get paid or advance, you a hoe. And she's old hoe. And the problem is what is she supposed to do? Somebody, one of her sycophant slaves comes up and unwraps her in a carpet naked at Putin's feet, and he says, oh yeah, I'm Julius Caesar. He said, no, I got better stuff here already. Plus, I don't want you anyway, you old woman. Yeah. Get on up. You know, or Xi Jinping, is he supposed to be impressed? She's doing word salad. Well, we're here today because China and the U.S. are here today, and that's why we have to agree on what we're doing here today. Like, fool, what did you just say? Yeah.
Does that not sound like her? You can't tell me that does not sound like her. Oh, man, that's hilarious.
No, did you say anything? And I've never seen such a salacious mess as I've seen out of her. I think of One West Bank. I had some pretty good properties out in California at one point in time. And I know I had 3 neighbors who had good properties. It was in a place called Ojai, California. And they got caught up about 15, 16 years ago, like a lot of people did in that mortgage bundling scam stuff that was going on. And there was a bank called One West Bank responsible for it, which was owned by George Soros. The Mnuchin that you have out of the Obama administration was Mnuchin, who was the CEO of One West Bank.
Yep.
Well, there were approximately 1,200 counts of indictments returned against Mnuchin and One West Bank in various counties in California. Well, Mnuchin and Soros financed and arranged and sponsored Kamala to run for Attorney General of California. They got her elected. She got in, and using the authority she had, she promptly consolidated all 5,200 counts and dismissed them. And a couple of weeks later, Soros sold One West Bank for $4.2 billion.
Sick.
So after...
And mind you, Mnuchin ended up working for Obama. They hired these corrupt people because they could control them. This is dirty, dirty, dirty work. This is dirty work. That man Mnuchin shouldn't have been nowhere near the White House.
After that, they got together and got her finance and got everything organized and made the connections for her, and she got elected to U.S. Senator. Willie Brown made the initial contacts and arrangements so she could get elected as district attorney for San Francisco. She didn't do a very good job. She had a reputation for giving out the stiffest sentences in the United States of America for simple possession of marijuana in San Francisco, for God's sakes. But it was only to young black men. She's not a parent, never had any children, but she went off on this campaign to lock parents up, some of whom actually were shown to have dropped their children off at the school, but they played hooky, so she was putting them in jail. I know my in-laws, now late in-laws, because they're dead, and their fine daughter that I was married to, we were divorced. She got a whole lot of money, but anyway, out of me. What wound up happening was there was a liquor store they like to patronize on the way home, and it was a good liquor store, but it got held up a lot, so Kamala's solution was not go get the crooks, but close down the liquor store so nobody would be troubled by it. See, that kind of philosophy, or you've got a serial killer who's got 6 victims, and the families are writing protest letters to her, not hurry up and do something, not why you giving the guy such a light deal, is why don't you let this man plead guilty to life without parole instead of delaying it for 7 years, trying to make political hay out of it. I was caught up in a thing where this woman who was supposed to be a financial specialist wound up embezzling a lot, $1.5 million from me, about 15 million from some other black celebrities. And most of it was in the San Francisco area, not LA where I was. She consolidated the cases up there in San Francisco, took 5 years to resolve it, let her plead out not the $15 million of embezzlement, but $35,000. The sentence was 5 years in the penitentiary, 4.5 years suspended, 5 years probation. The woman wound up sitting on a bench outside Sybil Branch, which is the women's detention facility in LA County, for 5.5 hours. That's all the time she served, made no restitution. And la-di-da, I'm through with it now, I don't care, on her behalf. Like, where's our money? You know, what did you do here? You didn't even consult with us. You did this on a surprise basis. That's $15 million gone. What happened? It's the kind of thing she would do, see.
Wow.
So it's like, that was not a good professional performance. And then she was everybody's favorite Hindu Indian prosecutor and attorney general and senator, and now she becomes black. But, you know, I met her daddy, fine gentleman, Professor Harris. And the problem with her being black is Professor Harris says he's Caucasian, mixed Irish and Hindu.
So check that out. Judge Joe Brown met her father, knows Kamala Harris' father, and he said he is not black. He is Irish and Hindu. But Kamala is going around here pretending that she's black. This is crazy. This is crazy.
He doesn't have any black ancestors, but his Irish ancestors owned a lot of slaves in Jamaica and had them to work on plantation. So if mama is on the birth certificate listed as a Caucasian, daddy says he's a Caucasian Hindu and has no black ancestors, how did she get to be black? Now, a little side story. When I had my show, let's say this has been 26 years ago, I had 2 beautiful women that I thought were sisters on the show. And they laughed one time when we all went to a happy hour and said, "You think we're black, don't you?" "Yeah, aren't you?" "No, we're Hindu." One of them said, "My mother's a Hindu Brahmin caste, and my father was Hindu warrior caste. He took an oath to the family to protect her. They fell in love, eloped, and now we got a death warrant on us. We can't go back to India." So, yeah, and then they gave me 2 books. The guys were Hindu, and they were very dark, but they cut their hair off close, grew beards, and started dressing and acting black, and they got financial aid. One of them, I think, went through medical school that way, masquerading for being black. Somebody else did it, so she went to Howard. And by the way, she told one big lie when she was talking about she got bust because of something Biden did when she was running against him. Well, the yearbook that she put out there that you can still get online from her high school in Canada shows she went from kindergarten through 12th grade in Canada, never went to school in the United States of America. Wow. She was born, by the way, in the same hospital that my ex-wife was born in, the same 12-month period, and my late mother-in-law was in fact a pediatric nurse in that hospital when Kamala was born. And the birth certificate that she has is interesting because The confusion comes from a mistake. On the birth certificate, it lists the mother's race as Caucasian, national origin India, and religion Hindu. For the father, it does not list national origin. It does not list religion. It does not list anything about that, but where it says race, they put national origin in Jamaica by mistake. Now, if you've ever been to Jamaica and you go over to St. Elizabeth Parish, you see all the high, bright, and white that live in Jamaica. So I've got a good friend retired from law enforcement. He has a white wife, blonde-haired, blue eyes, but she was born in Jamaica. Her parents were born in Jamaica. One's blonde and blue-eyed, the other one's red-haired and gray-eyed. And they happen to be related to the King of England because they are aristocrats in England, but they were born in Jamaica. So if you go over there, you see people from Hong Kong, Singapore, New Zealand, Australia, Kenya, South Africa, you name it. It's part of the British Commonwealth, and nobody needed a passport, and you could just go in and out. So it's not unusual. You're not black just because you were from Jamaica, and they have a whole lot of white people that never left, and their ancestors owned a lot of slaves. The Maroons went up into the hill country and got themselves free back in the 1840s, but you know, other than that, it is what it is in Jamaica. So just because you're from that country does not mean you are of the black race. So the problem is why don't you go get your daddy to give you an affidavit that you have a black ancestor? And since the only possible claim you have is through your great-grandmother, who he says was a Hindu house servant that just happens to be swarthy, where'd you get your blackness from? See, you're faking it again.
Yep.
And I say this after 50 years of experience, the worst human beings you will ever find are career prosecutors. Something slimy about them. They are so turned off by humanity and everything else. They don't care. They're trying to win the game. It is just play to them. They don't give a damn about the people they represent. They just want to win. So they lie, cheat, steal to win the game. And that brings up the other thing, where the Supreme Court of California ordered her to produce the evidence that was exculpating to somebody sitting up on death row that she had hidden. They did that over and over and over again with her hiding this evidence. Now, there are exceptions to this rule with career prosecutors, but if you ever want to sleazy somebody, find yourself a career prosecutor who's never done anything else but that until they have moved up. Now, there have been people like Thomas Dewey, who was a career prosecutor. He got Lucky Luciano, the gangster that set up the mob as a syndicate, a business. He got him and became governor of New York and then an unsuccessful candidate for president twice. You have people like that, and you got Kamala, who was a career prosecutor, and that's essentially all she's done outside of moving directly over into politics. They tend to be crooks. They're not good people. It's like I used to, on the bench, it's like, excuse me, can you approach both of you? Do you have any character? Do you realize what you just did? Well, I mean, no, we can't have that. That is not going to be allowed up in here. You do it again, and the court's going to see to it that you get a 10-day paid vacation courtesy of the sheriff. No. See, and that's what I'm looking at. She wants to be chief administrative officer, but she's never been the boss over anything. She was nominally with the Attorney General's office, but you've got all of these egos with all of these people with doctorate of laws who've taken the bar exam, and every one of them in there could run against you in an election and be your boss. and is as qualified technically as you are to run the place. So she's never been the boss in charge of something where she dictated,
ran the
because what she did in San Francisco and when she got over California is she essentially had somebody else doing it, and she was just a political figurehead. So when you come into this situation here, Putin, you know, Russia, Ukraine, those are serious things. They have a lot of nukes. You've got Xi Jinping, and China's got one hell of a huge army, Air Force, nukes, computer systems, and so on. What is your experience in international diplomacy? You got made the representative of the country to handle the foreign affairs. You failed so badly they yanked you out when you were actually the boss in charge. The borders are. You just complete abject failure to that. Your only appearance down there was to sit in a chair in the desert while they interviewed you, trying to be cute, flashing your pearls, you know, and you didn't do your job. So you're talking now about you want to legitimize 20 million aliens who've come in here and see that they get fast-tracked so they can vote and become part of the whole process. What are you doing? Whose jobs are you taking away? What about the people that actually lined up to go through the rules? You know, I want to become a citizen, so I take the courses. See, nobody's checking. They've got an outbreak of hepatitis. They got an outbreak of measles. HIV is ramped up. They've got all kinds of things. They've got problems with strains of tuberculosis that have no cure. So people before they come down with it, you have to put them on prophylactics for the rest of their life so they don't get a fatal illness that nobody can cure. So nobody is running the medical test. Nobody is checking to see what penitentiary they got out of. And something that is pretty real is a movie. You remember Al Pacino in Scarface? Mm-hmm. They dumped all their penitentiaries and they're over here. You got all of these Latino gangs that have now infiltrated. You've got Ukraine. You've got Gaza. You've got people that hate the fact that they don't have technology to shoot down a B-1B bomber. So what do? They just walk across the damn border. Nobody's checking them. Somebody is giving them free transportation without even vetting their luggage. And in the luggage, they have military-grade explosives, which over the last several years, I'm sure they put in various building structures, hospitals, subways, and everything else. And on command, they flip the switch, and 911 looks like a Boy Scout meeting. Mm-hmm. So what are you going to do about these things? Nobody's checking. You have a situation right now that has to be taken into context. Just about every major seaport is using these container removal cranes, these giant gantry cranes. They're made in the People's Republic of China. Nobody checked them, and now they went back and did, and there seem to be some things built into them that they can't remove. Don't know what the function is, but they appear to be communication devices. What the hell are those? You know? So you want to shoot down a B-1 bomber 56 miles from the southern border point where there is a huge illegal crossing. There is a U.S. Air Force base where 24 B-1 bombers stage out of. You can just surround a damn base with some RPGs and take a few of them out. We don't have but 24 of them that are operational, and some other was in long-term storage because we can't afford to operate the damn things. What are you supposed to do? That was your job. Did you do it? Did you handle it? No. So, you know, they've got this thing where sometimes they promote people up. You know, you fail at a job, but you got a rep, so they can't get rid of you, so they promote you.
Fail up, yeah.
Like, for example, Halsey, Admiral Halsey, Bull Halsey, always charged off, was aggressive. Great in World War I, World War II, the first part of it. But there was a thing in the Philippines, well, not Philippines, Leyte Gulf. It was a disaster. The Japanese laid a decoy force out. He fell for the trap, took off with all of the warships, left the beaches totally unguarded, told nobody, and he should have been court-martialed. But because of his fame, they couldn't, so they wound up promoting him to 5-star admiral instead of court-martialing him and canceling him. So, I mean, they do this kind of thing. So it's not unusual. But I'm just saying, hey, if you're going to bring somebody in, bring in somebody that knows what the hell they're doing. Meanwhile, she had a little rally in Georgia. I think 86 people showed up. That was supposed to be interesting. And she had the nerve to call Vance unpatriotic.
Oh, unpatriotic.
And he came back on her big time. He said, simplify, to serve, loyalty. I was in the Marine Corps over in the sand pile, and Trump took a bullet. What the hell have you done?
Right.
You know, and you want to call somebody out on the subject. See, it's hypocrisy. But you see, I did this because I did what I did, and that's what I did, which is because that's why I did it. Hey, what the hell did you just say? Do you realize what you said? Do you know?
Right. Wow. Powerful, powerful Judge Joe Brown. I got one more clip here I want to play. This comes from this is Joe Rogan. A clip here. They break down how the media is gaslighting about Kamala Harris.
Rogan experience.
So everybody forever was like, Kamala Harris is the worst vice president. She's the least popular vice president of all time. And then in a moment in time, all of a sudden she's our solution. She's our hero. Everybody's with her. All these social media posts about her. Try Googling a negative story on her. You won't find one.
So,
ta-da!
Okay, you've got me started, Officer Harris. So, they've been doing this live for years. So in 2019, our pal Tulsi absolutely nuked her in that second debate. And if you looked at charts at the time, she's kind of, Officer Harris is like doing okay. First debate she comes out, Joe Biden, you're a racist. The Democrats were looking for an alternative to Bernie Sanders that wasn't Biden. She starts going up in the polls, right? Second debate comes out. Tulsi, being a good Hawaiian, knows how to roast the pig. Just completely slams her. Not only that, she has no counterpunch. She goes on Anderson Cooper and she's like, well, I'm a top-tier candidate, so of course people are going to take shots at me. That's her answer. She immediately starts going down in the polls. It's that day. You can see it on the chart I have on my Twitter. All the articles at the time that did an autopsy on Kamala Harris's failed campaign didn't mention Tulsi once.
Yeah.
It was BBC, LA Times, Reuters, New Yorker. A guy from the Washington Post just did a piece looking back on her campaign, didn't mention Tulsi either.
Isn't that wild?
They completely pretend it didn't happen.
Well, it just shows you that what they're looking for is not what they say they're looking for.
Yes.
Because she is a strong woman. She is a person who served overseas twice. She in a medical unit, so she got to see people blown up by the war. She was a congresswoman for 8 years.
Yeah.
She is a person of color. She's everything you want. All those things you want. And
She's
yet
not
you don't want her.
because she's not for war.
Yes.
'Cause
Well,
she's not
she's
for the
also
mission.
just not willing to play ball. There's a game that's being played. And if you're like, hey, you're not supposed to fucking move the ball. Like, oh, look at this bitch over here. Like, get out of here. You're going to fuck up our game. It's not real democracy.
I think they're stupid for not going with Tulsi Gabbard, because Tulsi Gabbard could win over a lot of people that's there in the middle and a lot of independents. But because she won't get along, they will never put her anywhere near power.
It's controlled parties.
Did you see that piece by Seymour Hersh that dropped over the weekend about the coup?
Yes. So explain to people what Seymour Hersh, I don't know if he's right, but he seems to be right a lot. And he was right about the Nord Stream pipeline, right?
What I was saying, and a lot of other people were saying, is the big issue is how do you get Biden out of the White House? So here's Biden's case. He's like, look, I got Trump out of the White House last time. I'm only behind 2 or 3 points in the polls. Kamala's polling worse than me in like 8 out of 10 polls. I won these delegates. Why the hell should I back down? And that's a very solid case. Jill, for the first time in her life, people care about her. She matters. As Hunter put it, I have it exactly here. She's a selfish, silly, entitled cunt. That was how Hunter described her.
Whoa.
Yeah, we have the text. And then all the public pressure, Biden, you got to drop out, Biden got to drop out, Biden got to drop out. Nancy Pelosi's a gangster. I wouldn't want to fuck with her. I wouldn't want to fuck with Mitch McConnell. These people don't mess around. And everyone said, or a lot of people said, they're going to have to go to threats. Because why else would he step down? He's earned it, that presidency, and he's earned the nomination.
But if there was ever a time to invoke the 25th Amendment, wouldn't you think this is the time?
Sure, but I don't think hold on. Here's the thing. Let's talk about this. So Seymour Hersh, who's been around D.C. since the 60s, I believe he wrote The Dark Side of Camelot, if I'm not mistaken. He had a thing on his Substack that goes, Biden got the call, and it was Obama, Pelosi, former Speaker of the House, Chuck Schumer, Majority Leader, Hakeem Jeffries, current House Minority Leader of the Democrats in the House, and they said, we got Kamala on board to invoke the 25th. If you don't drop the nomination, you know that's going to happen. The thing is, you were saying they're not invoking the 25th. He's still president.
Right, but I'm saying if there was a time that they were going to do that, this would be that time.
It was that time 4 years ago.
Right, but
it's been that time.
But clearly now, right? More than ever before.
Why? Because it's public?
No, it's deteriorating.
I don't think he's gotten that much worse.
Oh, he's gotten a lot worse. There's a video that compares him from 2019 to 2024. It's a marked difference.
Yeah, but I don't think there's a big difference between 2022 and 2024. There's like a 2.5-hour compilation of the campaign in 2020 where he forgets Obama's name.
Yeah, that's true. He had those gaffes back then, but they're constant. It's not a gaff. He's barely hanging on.
He was fine to State of the Union. I think it's like sundowning, you know. Like
Okay.
What?
You think there's a body double?
That guy walked very differently than Biden.
Very
saw
different.
that.
He's a lot taller.
It's on Scott Adams' Twitter. I saw that. I'm like, am I Alex Jonesing today?
No, he's a lot taller.
Yeah.
No, he's physically taller.
Yeah, okay.
And he walks way better. Like, as someone who, like, you watch Biden walk, he had a stiffness. Like, death was coming for him.
And before everyone freaks out, has their mousetraps on their heads go off, I think there should be more presidential body doubles because one president almost got murdered. So if we have ways to keep them safe, let's use them.
Okay, that's a good thing to say. We cover our ass there. And now, and now here's another thing to say. In the interest of national security, like, let's imagine a scenario where Biden is deathly ill and Kamala is not really capable of taking over as president right now. And there is, like, who's next? Speaker of the House. So Nancy Pelosi. No, who's it now?
Mike Johnson.
Mike Johnson, right? So that would be him next. So that's a dangerous moment in terms of national security, even though everyone knows that Biden's, really having problems and is not actually running the show. I could see why they would want to use some body doubles for that.
Of course.
If the guy's in a hospital somewhere. But this guy, let's look at it, because this guy,
please play it.
He don't walk like him. He's taller than him. It looks like he gained, went back in time 7 or 8 years.
This is the Weekend at Bernie's prequel.
Well, this is master gaslighting and propaganda is what it is. Like, to show you that there's, what was it in 2000 and I forget what year it was, where I believe it was during the Obama administration. Look at the size of this guy.
This isn't the clip I saw.
He's so much bigger. Look how big he is. He's so much bigger than Jill. He's so much bigger. Yeah. Like, he gained a legitimate 6 inches. Look how tall he looks. Yeah. Look at it.
Wait, Jamie,
she's wearing heels as well.
Jamie, there's one on Scott Adams' Twitter.
This is from his Twitter.
Oh,
but let's watch.
It's the one he's walking to the helicopter.
Let's watch this again. Yeah, that's another one. Yeah, that's another one. That's a similar one too, where you see it one more time. Let's see him walk again. So, look how much bigger he is than Jill.
Holy shit.
He towers over her. He didn't used to tower
over her. I didn't see this clip
like
before
that.
I saw the other one.
And also, if you look at her, she's wearing high heels. See?
Oh, wow. Yeah, you're right.
See her high heels? Okay, and he's towering over her. That is a much taller person.
They show a picture.
So maybe they hooked him up with some fucking secret sauce that's going to keep him going, and he'll be back. Maybe they have ability to go back, biologically. Take you back a decade or two. Yeah. Giant difference.
Well, hold on. Is that because she could be behind him?
No, listen, she also has high heels on, man.
No, but on the left, it could be that she's standing.
No. That's a different human. Look at the size difference of the torso.
Them walking to the helicopter is the one where it looked really.
Go back to that, please. Look at the size differences in the torsos themselves, from the top of his shoulders to where.
Oh, look how many buttons! Yeah, look at the white of the shirt.
Yes, just look at the size difference. Look how much longer that human is on the left. Now, it may be Biden. Listen, they might have some wild shit that brings you back from the dead. But like medical science is getting there's some people out there working on some wild stuff.
But do you know,
maybe they just fucking jolted him up with some Wolverine juice.
Well, Wolverine juice is going to make you taller. But here's the thing. In the same way in the 60s, if you sat on the show and said Liberace's gay, people would yell at you because you've never seen him sucking a dick.
Right.
People right now will be like, it's impossible. Why would they do a body double?
No, I
That's
don't think
ridiculous.
they would be. I don't think they would be anymore.
You don't think so?
No.
You don't think there's a lot of people listening right now who think you're crazy?
My parents. Like regular people,
Your
no.
parents don't listen to this show. They got shit to do.
No, they don't. But if they did, they're boomers. They're full on. They're full on.
Not listen to this.
You got to keep Trump out of the White House. What you're seeing right here, it really looks like a different person. Now, why are we saying that? Because it actually does look like a different person. We're not making something up. Okay, I don't do that. I don't pretend. I don't lie. I'm not a type of person that looks at something like that and I have a propaganda thing I'm trying to push. Like when people say, this version of Joe Biden is the best version ever. Intellectually, I'm telling you, he's on point. That's not real, right? I don't do that.
We were also told for years
why.
that these are selectively edited clips and deep fakes. That's
no,
why.
No, they call them cheap fakes.
Yeah, cheap fakes. Excuse
That's what
me.
she's
Yes,
calling them cheap.
yes.
First of all, it's very expensive technology.
What
Took a lot
was
of money to produce.
The cope with the debate? First, I heard people say it was the fault of the lighting. I don't know what kind of lighting, unless it's some kind of space
It was
lasers.
after his bedtime.
But what kind of lighting makes you say we beat Medicare? Then people said the mic was fucked up. Well, if your mic is fucked up, why can't you breathe? So it was amazing how all the explanations didn't explain what we all saw with our own eyes.
Well, we can't gaslight. I know everyone's doing this because this is how everyone's done this. I don't think you can do it this way anymore.
No, what I'm saying is, for George Soros to be anti-Semitic, you're anti-Semitic.
Right.
If you're going after Officer Harris, you're either racist or sexist or ableist.
Right.
So they will use
Ableist.
Yeah, because she's a retard. She's literally retarded. I mean, Ukraine is a country in Europe, and Russia is another country and a powerful country. And Russia invaded Ukraine, and that's wrong.
What's really important is what can be unburdened by what has been.
I think of her as America's wine mom because bitch seems like she's 3 deep by noon, and she's got the 3 phases of wine mom. She's got happy drunk. Oh my God, this cereal's got a rabbit on it. It's so great. Cackling, cackling, cackling. Then there is drunk at work, where you're trying to make sense, but you don't. Space is around us all and unites us all and inspires us all. And then there's I'm being stern so you don't realize how plastered I am, and I'm making a point. That little girl was me. Now I'm going to go upstairs and don't knock on the door because I'm going to pass out. So those are her 3 ways she talks, and those are the wine mom.
I think he is what that is her character all there. I think he got her down packed because that's all you get with her. That's all you get with her.
Phases.
Do you think they have her medicated? Because there was a guy that was speculating that some of the things that she says, the way she's sort of disconnected sometimes. And
I don't know
She goes
what-
on these rambles that it's
I don't
indicative of certain anti-anxiety medication. I do not know if this is true. See if you can find that, because really
That
shouldn't
would
say
make
that
s-
about
that would
our
make s-
future president.
Yeah, our future. Yeah,
She's gonna win.
no, she's not.
She can win.
She absolutely can win. I do not think she's going to win because the more she talks, like in 2020, how bad do you have to be that you can't even make Iowa? She couldn't even compete with the mayor of South Bend.
I feel like
That's what I keep saying. Sooner or later, she's gonna have to talk, and when she talks, everyone is gonna see how dumb she really is. That's what I keep saying.
like we are in this very bizarre time where people are giving in to the bullshit in a way that I never suspected people would before. And
We
this is
saw this
one,
in-
they just want no Trump no matter what, and they're willing to gaslight themselves. They think that, and by the way, I think Hillary could win. If Hillary jumped back in,
I've been saying that for months.
if Hillary jumped back in, I think the problem was also the money, because there was it was like $250 million in the campaign fund that has
Sure.
if it
Right.
only works if
Right.
she's on the ticket.
Right.
So that's part of the problem. But I feel like Hillary could win. Like, she won the popular vote in 2020.
I've been saying this for a year in different shows, and she would have won in pretty.
Michelle Obama could win too.
No, I don't
if
think
she wanted to do it. You don't think so?
I don't. I think that's kind of this. You sound like your parents. I think it's this boomer idea. She doesn't want it.
I'm not saying that she would be awesome at it. But I think
anyone can win of either party.
Yes.
Whoever the nominee is. Like even Chris Christie could have won if he's the Republican nominee. It's
I would
possible.
have thought that Trump getting shot would that's it. Election's over. But it's like they memory hold that so quick.
You would have thought Trump getting shot would have had 8 years of corporate journalists talking about hate speech causing violence to be like, let's take a step back. And that went for what, a week?
They did take a step back for a little bit.
For a week.
And then they went right back at him.
You want to talk about this memory holding?
Yeah.
With the insanity of the who's that? That was Elon who put up. Like if you Google President Donald, it says President Donald Reagan.
No, I tried it.
What happened?
Maybe they fixed it. It said President Donald Trump.
Okay. Well, he had a screenshot, so I'm sure he didn't
no.
Photoshop
I did it myself.
I mean, it's based on a lot of things, right? Like what people are searching for. I would imagine that the assassination attempt on Trump would be the first one that you would see.
Yeah.
Assassination attempt on President.
Right.
It'd be Trump because that's the most recent.
Yes.
But it's not.
And most newsworthy.
But it does show it. You just have to type it all in, which is interesting because that little difference between what you can find and what you get presented immediately has a huge shift in the way people access information. And this is Robert Epstein's work.
The Creepy Line, the documentary, everyone should watch it.
Yeah, and this thing is very real. And what it is like if you try to Google certain negative stories, like negative stories on people, it will overwhelm you with positive stories. It'll take a long time before you get to the negative stories.
Yeah, how he explained it is here's how they can tip the scale.
Yeah.
If I Google Hillary Clinton, and I have it so Google gives fairly positive stories about Hillary as the first 10 results, you're not going to go to the second page. If I Google Donald Trump and Google gives you 7 negative stories, it's going to move the needle a little bit toward her
Quite
and against
a bit.
him. Yeah.
Quite a bit. Like if you're a person who's on the fence, you're like, maybe Donald Trump's not a bad guy. And then you Google him, and then you start reading some of these like pieces that they've written about him. It'll change your perspective.
You really think she's going to win?
I'm saying it because she could. I'm not saying it because I think she's going to, and I'm not saying because I want her to. I'm just being honest. Like I could see her winning.
I think she's going to lose a lot of the black male vote.
Really?
I don't think they're going to go in the booth and pull the lever for her like they did for Biden, who was Obama's boy.
And y'all know I've done plenty of videos on how she's losing the black vote and the black man vote in particular. So let's check out what's going on X real quick. This will be the last thing we're gonna do, then we can get out of here. Let's see. Elon Musk said this is real. The Department of State Bureau International Narcotics and Law Enforcement reward 153 million for information leading to arrest of Nicolas Maduro. What? That's real? Wow. Contact the DEA. That is wild. They really trying to take out Maduro. Wow. Look what we got here. Oh, Malcolm X, man. Let's check out Malcolm X. I love Malcolm X.
These leaders that they call leaders, this included Lena Horne, this included Dick Gregory, and this included comedians, comics, trumpet players, baseball players. Show me in the white community where a comedian is a white leader. Show me in the white community where a singer is a white leader, or a dancer or a trumpet player is a white leader. These aren't leaders. These are puppets and clowns that have been set up over the white community and over the black community by the white community and have been made celebrities and usually say exactly what they know that the white man wants to hear. These leaders that they call leaders, this included Lena Horne.
It's still happening today. Look at all these so-called leaders. But only now they're not even that talented. You got, all these like the Roland Martins and them caping for the Democrat Party. And these are our supposed leaders. Al Sharpton, our supposed leaders. You know what I'm saying? One of the realest political ads I've ever seen. Yeah, I seen this one. This is pretty good. Let's check this out.
Democrats like to say that no one needs an AR-15 for self-defense. That no one could possibly need all 30 rounds. But when this rifle is the only thing standing between your family and a dozen angry Democrats in Klan hoods, you just might need that semi-automatic and all 30 rounds.
Facts. That's who the KKK was. Democrat Party. Let's see here. We went over this. Damn, dude, Michael just called Kamala Harris. Let's see. Liberals, quote, if we could just jail Trump, get rid of MAGA, end the Electoral College, stack the Supreme Court, ban voter ID, and censor free speech, we could save democracy. Well said. I'm about to repost that. It sure looks like the FBI leadership engaged in perjury. The FBI is now claiming that Trump shooter Thomas Matthews Crooks had an unspecified social media account in 2019-2020 when he was 15 years old that posted anti-immigrant and anti-Semitic content. Alright. Oh, oops. How did this get leaked out? Let's see.
Internet is forever. Do you remember this?
Right.
When Senator Harris was the Attorney General for 8 years in the state of California, there were two of the most segregated school districts in the country, in Los Angeles and in San Francisco. And she did not, I didn't see a single solitary time she brought a case against them to desegregate them. Secondly, she also was in a situation where she had a police department when she was there that in fact was abusing people's rights. And the fact was that she, in fact, was told by her own people, that her own staff, that she should do something about and disclose to defense attorneys like me that you, in fact, have been, the police officer did something that did not give you information would exculpate your client. She didn't do that. She never did it. And so what happened? Along came a federal judge and said, enough, and he freed 1,000 of these people. If you doubt me, Google 1,000 prisoners freed, Kamala Harris.
Thank you, Vice President Biden.
What a mess. Internet is forever.
Facts.
Do you remember this?
Facts. And she is for segregation. We already know that she is for segregation. That's why she's having these segregated Zoom calls. You got the Zoom call for your blacks. You got the Zoom call for your white women. You got the Zoom call for your white men. You know what I'm saying? So we already knew. So even back then, when she was in California, she was for segregation. But what else would you expect? I mean, her family owned slaves. What is this? Defying L's. Yeah, they're super weird, right, George? Trump and Vance are weird. Vance. Oh man, yeah, right. Let's see what else we got going on here. Judge Joe Brown. We already went through the whole entire video. Plan A, Plan B. What's Plan C? Oh, we know what that is. We know what that is referring to. I can't say here, but we all know what this is referring to. That's Maduro, right? We know what happened in Venezuela. And it's the exact same line that would happen, you know. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Let's see. Wall Street Apes. Nancy Pelosi leaked email reveals she instructed Democrat politicians to only pander to black people, do not implement policy for them. Wow. Here we go. Let's check this out.
BLM. Peep this, fam. For the longest time, the Democratic Party has relied on our vote, on the black vote, but they haven't really done anything for the black community.
Shout out Sabrina.
And I want to take you back to something that was revealed One of the things that was revealed with the Nancy Pelosi emails when it came to BLM, peep this, fam. I tweeted this a couple of days ago. Listen to this. These were instructions for Democrat politicians during the George Floyd protest. Don't offer support for concrete policy solutions. Listen to this, guys. This has continued with any ask from the Black community. They implement policy for every group except Black people. You don't owe them a damn thing. And we'll look at this. This is straight from that information that was revealed from Nancy Pelosi's email. Tactics: meet with local activists. If approached by BLM activists, campaign staff should offer to meet with local activists. Invited BLM attendees should be limited. Everybody paying attention, right? It should be limited. Please aim for personal or small group meetings. Listen to their concerns. Don't offer support for concrete policy positions. Frontline district staff should meet with activists. Again, we want to focus on number 2. Don't offer support for concrete policy positions. Ladies and gentlemen, the Democratic Party has been doing this to the Black community as long as I've been alive.
For real. Facts. True.
They'll pander to you. They'll offer you symbolic gestures, but it's revealed right here in the instructions that was given to the Democrat politicians. Remember, at that point in time, wasn't Nancy Pelosi Speaker of the House?
Yep.
So what was told to Nancy Pelosi and to get her sheep in order was not to offer any support for concrete policy positions. And I have seen this happen with every interest or concern that has been brought up by the Black community to the Democratic Party. They pander to you. They kneeled in kente cloth. They gave you Juneteenth as a holiday. But when you start asking for real reform, real change, real material conditions, they're not offering you any concrete policy positions.
Facts.
This is how someone like Donald Trump was able to beat Hillary Clinton. This is why Donald Trump now has 29% of the Black vote in New York. You can't just continue to do this. You can't just continue to pander to Black Americans and expect us to just show up and stand in line for 10, 14 hours at some of these polling stations to vote for a party that doesn't give you anything. It doesn't do anything to help the.
All right, so yeah, I'm all with her. I'm all with her on that. I'm gonna go ahead and give her a repost too. Reminder: in the Bible, demons refer to themselves as they, them, we, us. That is facts. That is actually true. If Republican leaders don't enjoy being called weird, creepy, and controlling, they could try not being weird, creepy, and controlling. That's what Hillary Clinton said, and then this guy replied with that. Pretty funny. What is this? A mom going into a Lexington, Kentucky library and sees how hard they are pushing the homosexual narrative on kids. Wow. Vivek Ramaswamy sets the Breakfast Club straight when they quoted Donald Trump out of context based on an article that was written to make him look like someone who wears a white hood and attends rallies where they set fire to the cross. Now, I think this is an older clip. This is an older one.
Poisoning the blood of our country.
That was exactly Trump's quote. Read the whole sentence.
Illegal immigration is poisoning the blood of our nation.
Okay, and read the rest of it as you did. Just go the whole paragraph because I think. Just do it one more time, just so everybody hear what he actually said versus the news story.
The term blood poisoning was used by Hitler in his
read what Donald Trump said, not what somebody wrote about it.
He criticized immigration and the mixing of all races. Trump is doing
because,
the exact
what
same
he said,
thing.
they're poisoning the mental health institutions. They're poisoning
No,
the
he
prisons.
said poisoning
they're
the blood
poisoning
of
the-
our country.
That was one line from a broader litany.
That's Hitler's line.
And so I'll tell you this, man. I went to the south side of Chicago in this campaign against the advice of my campaign advisors because they said, why are you going there in the middle of a primary? I'm running to unite the country. You know what they're doing in Chicago right now, or at least at the time I went there? They were converting South Shore High School, a poor high school on the south side of Chicago, into an encampment for migrants who are in this country illegally at a cost of $7,000 per migrant per month.
Absolutely. That happened in New York a couple years ago.
There were things said in the room that I was in that were far more incendiary than what you just read right there. And I don't hold it against the people who were in that room with me because America First includes all Americans. And I think it is dead wrong that we are rewarding mass numbers of people who have entered this country illegally, breaking the law as they do it, coming in by the millions, and rewarding them more than we are our own fellow citizens right here at home.
You'll get
And
no
so
disagreement
so that's a
from me.
major problem affecting people, black and white, Democrat and Republican, poor and middle class across this country. And yet we're sitting here obsessing over one word in a long paragraph that said poison the blood when it included a reference to mental health institutions and jails and other public resources in the United States. That is everything that's wrong with our media right now.
Man, I mean, Ramaswamy is the truth. I really like this dude. I really have high hopes for him in running in 2028. But let's see. I love Sal the Algorithm. He makes some tight memes. You know how I know you don't actually believe in democracy? Decent. Tell me. You lied about Biden's health until after primary, so your voters couldn't choose his replacement. Facts. No longer conspiracy theory. CIA director admits plans for geoengineering, aka chemtrails. Yeah, they're out in the open with it now. I remember I used to get laughed at all the time when I'd be saying, hey man, y'all know what's going on in the sky, right? You see those chemtrails out there now. Now they're actually admitting that they're doing it. I did a whole video on that. What else we got going on? They turned Hotep Jesus white. Oh, that is hilarious. Oh, they are wrong for that. They turned Hotep Jesus white. That's funny. Let's see. What else we got going on? We did that whole video. Senator Mike Lee is going off. Let's see what Mike Lee says here.
Window with the clear. Why on earth did the snipers assigned to the second story window with the clear view of that infamous sloped roof, a clear view of where the shooter stood and tried to kill President Trump? Why was that manned initially with snipers, with sharpshooters, and then abandoned at some point before the shooting took place? Now look,
great question.
These are and should be obvious and easy basic questions for the Secret Service to answer. And they have had no fewer than 17 days since the attack to answer these questions. These are questions that they should have started asking and probably should have been able to answer within 24 hours.
No joke.
And yet, again and again and again, what I heard, what my colleagues heard, what you heard if you were watching, was we're looking into it. I'm sorry, that doesn't cut it. Why on earth did the snipers
our government
assign...
is so corrupt. We all know what happened here. We all know that they allowed this to happen. This is a setup. We all know it's the deep state that did this. There's no way you could be that incompetent. And they're not answering any of the questions. Kamala unveils new accent in Atlanta. Let's hear it.
And you all helped us win in 2020, and we're going to do it again in 2024.
That is horrible. Is this real?
Yes, we will. So let's get right. And you all helped us win in 2020, and we're going to do it again in 2024.
Oh my God, that is terrible. That is terrible. I'll let you know if you made it in. Post your best memes. Let's see what we got. Else we got New York Post. Today cover. Since the assassination attempt on Trump, Meta's AI, Facebook, and Google have said the shooting never happened, falsely claimed picked doctor, downplayed the news in a search. Big tech. Yeah, New York Post, man. They be on it. They be on it sometimes. I like New York Post. Let's see. The Biden-Harris administration is improving vast numbers of voters. Importing vast numbers of voters. Yeah. That's exactly what it is. All right, white dudes for Harris. That's funny. White dudes for Harris. Let's hear this real quick.
Yes. Out of respect for you and your show, I've brought some facts. Would you? If you like, they're actually.
You just get the fuck out of here. This is not the place.
I thought you like facts.
We love facts. I love facts.
I wouldn't have mentioned it. I'm English, and you know that politeness is our fundamental religion. But they do pertain to this issue, so may I say some of them? If they inconvenience you, I'll stop saying them. The pandemic created at least 40 new big pharma billionaires. Pharmaceutical corporations like Moderna and Pfizer made $1,000 of profit every second from the COVID-19 vaccine. More than two-thirds of Congress received campaign funding from pharmaceutical companies in the 2020 election. Pfizer chairman Albert Bourla told Time magazine in July 2020 that his company was developing a COVID vaccine for the good of humanity, not for money. And of course, Pfizer made $100 billion in profit in 2022. And may I just mention, finally, and this is also a fact, that you, the American public, funded the development of that. The German public funded the BioNTech vaccine. When it came to the profits, they took the profits. When it came to the funding, you paid for the funding. All I'm querying is this.
Yes.
Is if you have an economic system in which pharmaceutical companies benefit hugely from medical emergencies, where a military-industrial complex benefits from war, where energy companies benefit from energy crises, you are going to generate states of perpetual crisis, where the interests of ordinary people separate from the interests of the elite.
Man, and Bill Maher was trying to cut in and try to stop him from making his point, which is what pisses me off about that whole thing. But he was 1,000% correct on all of that. What we got here? He said,
yes. Out of respect for you and your show, I've brought some facts.
Andrew Torba said, I am once against, I guess it means once again, asking for your prayers. I am taking a big leap of faith with this to see it as my patriotic duty to my country to share this information. All glory belongs to Jesus Christ for giving me the courage to speak the truth. Andrew Torba, he's posted this. The FBI is now claiming that Trump shooter Thomas Matthew Crooks had an unspecified social media account. Oh yeah, we went over that already. Maybe I should see the rest of this. Let me see the rest of this. Many particular regime media reporters have doubted Gab's claims that this request existed. Normally, we don't confirm the existence or content of law enforcement communications. In this instance, we had to make an exception due to the overwhelming public interest in disclosure and transparency. As a courtesy to law enforcement, we are not going to post the entire request. This is just the first page. Oh, they're just verifying that they asked for his social media information. Okay, I got you now. What else we got here? If you ever feel dumb, just remember there are some people who still believe everything shown in news. Facts. Let me see. I refuse to be lectured about racism by a party that holds white-only Zoom fundraiser. That's facts. That's what I'm saying. Like, the Democrat Party are segregationists. Look what they're doing at the universities, where they separate the graduations. Like, this is the graduation only for black people. This is the graduation only for whatever. Like, the Democrat Party are and has always been the segregationists. Let's see. 5 decades of fraud. 50 years of failure. Oh, man. Weird. Alright. So, that's it for today, y'all. Appreciate y'all for watching this. As always, check out jjthepsychotherapist.com and follow me on X and like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. Until next time, peace.